Let me tell you about Operation Hornet. It's one of the boldest covert missions in the history of Indian intelligence. We're talking spies, assassins, and a high-stakes game of cat and mouse that played out across the entire globe.
So, picture this. It's June 1987. We're in Lahore, Pakistan. A man is walking home after his morning prayers at the local mosque. It's a completely normal, everyday scene, but it's about to be shattered in the most brutal way imaginable.
Out of nowhere, two men dressed in the crisp uniforms of Pakistani Rangers walk up to him. They stop him, and their whole vibe is calm, almost casual. You'd have no idea what was about to happen next.
They exchange a few quiet words. Then they pull out pistols and fire 9 shots. Just like that. The man drops to the ground, dead instantly. Now, these weren't just any gunmen. They were agents from India's Research and Analysis Wing. You know it as RAW. And their target? He was one of the ISI's most dangerous guys.
So who was this man? And how on earth did Indian agents manage to pull off a high-profile hit deep inside enemy territory? Well, the answers are all part of a plan that took years to unfold and spanned multiple continents. You see, that daylight murder in Lahore, it wasn't the start of the story. It was the endgame, the final move in a really long and complicated game of shadows designed to tear down a whole terror network from the inside out. The mission had a code name, Operation Hornet, and the goal was simple but incredibly difficult. Dismantle an ISI-backed Khalistani terror network that was causing so much chaos for India. And that man who was killed in Lahore, his name was Abdul Khan, and he was the mastermind behind the whole thing. To really get what happened on that street in Lahore, we've got to rewind 3 years. We need to go to a totally different country, where the very first seeds of this operation were being planted. It's November 1984. We're in a small cafe in Paris. A RAW agent working undercover, Sanjeev Jindal, is poring over some top-secret documents. The news is all about Indira Gandhi's assassination, but Jindal's mind is on a different threat, one that's growing bigger by the day.
So the intel he's looking at is coming from a really valuable asset, a guy named Clark Lee who works in the London Immigration Office. And the info is pointing to 2 main guys, Abdul Khan, that ISI handler in London, and B.N. Sandhu, a big-shot Khalistani operative. Khan was the linchpin, the guy connecting the extremists directly to Pakistan's ISI.
Jindal fires off his reports to Delhi, and boom, by December, he's summoned to RAW headquarters. His boss, Anuj Bardwaj, looks at him and asks one simple question: what's your plan? Jindal lays it all out, and just like that, Operation Hornet officially gets the green light.
But before we go any further, you really need to understand who this Agent Jindal was. The man was known for being cold, calculated, and incredibly efficient. And a mission he ran in Vienna a year earlier proved it.
Okay, so back in 1983, Jindal tracks down this major terror financier, a guy named Asif Khan. Now, you can't just arrest him in a foreign country, right? So Jindal deploys a highly trained asset named Sophie. She gets close to Khan, infiltrates his inner circle, and then one morning, he's found dead. Mission accomplished. And this is the part that shows you who Jindal was. He immediately cut all contact with Sophie and just vanished from Austria. For him, the mission always came first.
All right, so back to the present. Operation Hornet is a go, and Jindal's first job is a huge one. Build a network of spies who could actually get inside the enemy's world.
So they set up the operation with 2 different wings. Think of it like this. One team, led by his asset Clark Lee and another top agent named Mohan, was just for gathering information. The second team, supervised by Jindal himself, that was the covert action team. They were the ones who would actually go in and neutralize the threats. And the team of assets that they put together to make this happen, it was incredible. Jindal brought his old operative, Sophie, back into the fold. Meanwhile, in London, Agent Mohan managed to convince Abdul Khan's own gardener to become an informant. They even managed to turn a guy named Amarjit Singh, getting him to spy on his own cousin, who was a key terrorist. Every single person was a carefully chosen piece of a much larger puzzle. So the network is built. The intel is flowing in hot. It was time to go to work. The whole plan was to take this network apart piece by piece, starting from the outside and working their way in to the core. First up, in August of '85, a terrorist named Harbakh Singh dies in what looks like a car accident in Pakistan. It wasn't. Next, they corner the network's money man, Avtar Sethi, all the way in California. Under pressure, he completely cracks and exposes the entire network, even naming 27 collaborators back inside India. And finally, with India putting on some serious diplomatic pressure, the key operative B.N. Sandhu gets arrested in London. The whole thing was just crumbling.
And that brings us right back to where we started. With all of his key people either dead or behind bars, there was only one man left standing.
The mastermind himself, Abdul Khan. And you know what? He got cocky. He figured Raw's main target was Sandhu, and now that Sandhu was gone, he thought the heat was off. He let his guard down and took a trip to his hometown, Lahore, and that was a fatal mistake.
As he's walking home from the mosque, those two agents walk up to him. One of them asks a simple question, just to be sure. "Brother, are you Abdul Khan from London?" When he says yes, that's it. They open fire, and his reign of terror is over.
Now, the official police report in Lahore, they called it a business rivalry, a simple crime story. But you better believe that back at ISI headquarters, they knew exactly what had just happened. They knew India's intelligence agency had just walked into their backyard and taken out one of their most valuable guys.
This was India's answer to terror. This was Operation Hornet. Oh, and remember those 27 collaborators inside India that the financier exposed? Well, after his confession, a quiet cleanup operation was launched. 18 of them were silently eliminated. The hornet's nest was gone, both abroad and at home. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? How many other stories just like this one are still out there, hidden away in the shadows?